Seen it before. Not as big as you thought it was going to be, right? Yeah. Look at this guy. He's like, I can go over that. Yeah. See bigger. See bigger. Yeah. It's not that easy though. We'll come to that in a second. First, I just want you guys to use your imagination for a moment. Okay. I want you to imagine that you're back home, wherever you call home. So you guys were from Brighton. Let's imagine that you wake up on the 13th of August 1961 in Brighton, and you realise that something terrible has happened to the city. Overnight, 25,000 East German soldiers have surrounded half of your city, rolled out a barbed wire barricade, and now they're building a wall, and you cannot cross that line anymore. So you guys, you're going to wake up and realise you've lost your job, it's on the other side, or your education, school, college, university is on the other side. Your family are on the other side. Your parents, so they're gone. Your grandparents are elderly, so you'll never see them again. Your brothers and sisters, your boyfriend or girlfriend is on the other side of the wall. All your friends are on the other side of the wall. And some people woke up that morning and they lost everything on that. To do something like that to your own citizens that's an act of violence. It's a horrible thing. And the men in this building didn't seem to care. But it does lead us to the obvious question, why not just climb over? Well, it's not that easy actually. This is the exact border between East and West. But 10 or 20 meters over into the eastern side, there's another wall. And it's the space between the walls. That's the real obstacle. They call the space between the walls Death Strip. Which gives you some idea about how hard it is to get across. You've got in the Death Strip lots of beautiful soft sand, which we've got the guys from Brazil. Yeah, you guys in Brazil, you spend all your time playing beach football, I believe, correct? Yeah. It's very hard to run on the sand, isn't it? It slows you down. Yeah. This sand has got spikes hidden in random places. If you step in the wrong spot, skewer your feet down onto the spikes, that'll slow you down. You have tripwires. If you pick the tripwire, say your prayers. And there's a man in a building like this one, or in custom-made watchtowers they built all the way around West Berlin. Snipers, sharpshooters. These guys are going to shoot to kill. And if they shoot and kill you with a death strip, they can claim a cash bonus in their paycheck. Yeah. You've got to remember, in East Germany, from the rubble of the Second World War, they were trying to build a better society, a more equitable society, a society that's fairer for everybody. But there comes a point when you've got to shoot people in the back with a high-powered rifle because they're trying to escape your perfect world. You've got to ask yourself a few serious questions. It doesn't seem to have occurred to these guys. I must point out that a great many people were very happy living in East Germany. A lot of older former East German citizens still miss East Germany today. Franziska, the girl that took the tour out before me, was actually born in the DDR. And whenever you ask her about it, she kind of goes, hey, I come from a country which no longer exists. You know, and a lot of people are quite sad about it because it wasn't all bad in there. You know, free education for everybody, free healthcare for everybody. No one's left on the scrap heap. You know, elderly people are cared for. A young single mother would never be left alone in a cold and damp apartment to fend for herself. And that wouldn't be allowed to happen. The problem was personal freedom. Everything was shadowed by Stasi. Staatssicherheit, the state security. It's the most all-encompassing secret police force that has ever existed. Yeah. These men are always watching and always listening. There's a great German film, if any of you guys have seen it, called Das Leben der Anderen, The Lives of Others. You might have seen it. If you haven't, you should watch it. I mean, these guys, they'll think nothing of bugging your phone and recording all your telephone conversations, reading your mail, keeping a track of who you associate with and where you go, the literature and newspapers that you read. They will snoop on every aspect of your life, which is terrifying. You know, I just thank God that our governments today would never do that. They wouldn't be able to do that. Oh no, they all do, isn't that a bit weird? Yeah, I mean, this is why people were trying to get away from these guys. Germans are a resourceful bunch. Tunnels were dug in various places. A couple of families worked in secret, made a homemade hot air balloon, floated to freedom. That's how good Germans are at engineering. Anyone's making that air balloon. One guy was East Germany's champion pole vaulter. On the day that the barbed wire barricade goes down and they're putting the first bricks down, he thinks, to hell with this place, whips out his pole, charges towards the pole vaults to freedom. As the 60s became the 70s, if you had a bit of money behind you and you knew the right people, you could bribe an American diplomat, pose as a diplomat visiting East Berlin from the west, make contact with a loved one, and then smuggle them in the hollowed out back seat of a car. There's a lot of ways to get across here. I'm just thinking, I know it's pretty cold today, guys, and after our next stop we're going to have a little break. Are you guys like too cold, or if you want I can squeeze in a quick escape story if you want. Right, go and squeeze in then, guys, it's story time. This guy's going into his t-shirt off. Yeah, putting the extra layers on. Alright guys, this story, this is actually my favourite escape story because it's a love story. And I'm a born romantic, you can probably tell. It's a story of undying love, true love. It's also a story of a guy being not very romantic, and I can never figure this guy out, okay? So, this guy, he lives in West Berlin before the wall goes up. His girlfriend lives in East Berlin, and he loves her very much, yeah? But then the wall comes, and he's lost her, and his heart is broken. To his credit, he never stops loving her. He never stops thinking of her. He says, I'll wait for her. One life, one love. If I have to wait my whole life, it'll be worth it for her. I mean, that's beautiful, isn't it? Who wouldn't like to be loved like that? Yeah? Then the years roll by. We reach the 1970s. He's still dreaming of his lost love. And he hears about these visas you can get if you've got enough money, and he thinks that's the answer. He takes on a second job, a third job, he's working 70, 80 hours a week. He just wants to go and hold her in his arms one last time. I mean, that is beautiful. It's alright, let it all out, let it all out. But then this romantic guy happens upon the least romantic plan I've ever heard. He's walking through the streets of West Berlin, and across the street he sees another girl. And this girl is a doppelganger, a lookalike. And he's like, oh my God, it's her. He runs across the street, he gets to this girl, he realizes it's not his girl. And then he gets chatting to her, and then he gets an idea. And he says, he's kind of like, hey, I don't know what you're doing tonight if you're not too busy, because I'm not busy, and maybe if you want, we could maybe grab a beer or something like that. And she's a little bit taken aback by this, because here in Berlin, actually I don't know if this is true in the rest of Germany, but certainly in Berlin, the tradition is that the girls tend to ask the guys out here. Like Berlin men are kind of a little bit shit. I don't know if that's the same in the rest of Germany, but yeah, like Berlin guys, you guys when you go out tonight, this is what will happen to you. A German guy will come and stand next to you really awkwardly, and he'll go like, hello. And then you've got to kind of chat to him. That's how it works, isn't it? It's a good system. Good system. He'll be like, I promise you that is what will happen. He'll be like, I see you're also liking techno. And then you've got to speak to him. So she's like, who does this guy think he is? He's a bit cheeky. That's not how it works here. But then she looks at him, she goes, you know what? He's kind of cute. So she says, yeah, warum nicht? Why not? They go out and they have a drink and they have a lovely time. He's a perfect gentleman. A few days later, another date. Theatre, cinema, a picnic in the park. They're an item. They're seeing each other and she thinks he's lovely. But all the time, he's thinking of his lost love back in the East. And then one day he says to his new girlfriend, he says, hey you, I've got a surprise for you. I've been saving up a load of money and I know a guy and I can get us a couple of visas. We could visit East Berlin. We could see friends and family, people we haven't seen for so long since that damn wall came. Do you want to come? And so the girl is like, oh my God, yes, I want to come. She can't believe her luck with this guy. She's telling all her friends. She's like, we're going on holiday together, first trip abroad. It's an important part of the relationship. And he's taking me to East Berlin to see friends and family. He's paying for everything. This guy is a dream come true. Do you know what? He really loves me. Yeah. Meanwhile, through secret channels, he gets word to his lost love. He says, meet me on this day, at this time, in this place. Don't ask any questions, just be there. The big day comes. Him and his new girlfriend drive down to the checkpoint, show the East German border guard their documents, everything's in order, he waves them through. They stow the documents in the glove compartment, and they're driving around East Berlin, and she's thinking, this is so exciting, where are we going? He's got other ideas. Without any warning, he slams on the brakes of the car, leans across her, opens the door, and he says, darling, I'm so sorry. Pushes his new girlfriend out of the car, drives around the corner, picks up his old girlfriend, races to the checkpoint, and gets his old girlfriend into West Berlin with his new girlfriend's passport and visa. So he's rescued her. That is so romantic. What do you think? What? I can't see any problem with that story. There's no sadness or anything. Yeah. Okay. Girlfriend number 2. She's got a big problem. She's trapped in a foreign country with no ID, no clue what has just happened. Put yourselves in the shoes of the checkpoint guard here. This girl comes up to her and she's like, "Hi, you're never going to believe what's just happened." So the border guard is like, "9, get yourself back into the east." So she's trapped, living somebody else's life in a foreign country. There's a happy ending though. There is a happy ending. Some of the looks I'm getting from the girls there are lethal. There's a happy ending, okay, because she complains enough. Her parents report her missing back home. They confront the guy who spills the beans. New ID is taken over. She proves her identity, she's allowed back into the West. Now, as soon as she gets onto that side of the Berlin Wall, she calls the cops, tells them about this scoundrel. They go around and they arrest him. They charge him with fraud, and he gets sent to jail for 7 months. But his one true love has been allowed to stay as a political refugee. So when he's released from jail, she's waiting for him at the prison gates. They finally reunited and they get married. It's a true story. You know, and I can never figure out if this guy's a hero or a villain. You know, normally this story, I have to say this story, and it's doing it today, splits down gender lines, where all the girls are looking at me, and I can read your mind, you're looking at me going, men. Well, all the guys are going, "That's such a good idea." Yeah. We're going to